learning target 13 is just like we've done in other sections. We always took an equation and found all like the little pieces, and then we would take some information and write an equation. So for parabolas, we already did all the stuff where we found all the little pieces, and now we're getting information. We're going to write the equation. That's all we're doing. So it says we're going to graph them. We're not going to graph them. I don't know. You can graph them if you want to. I'm not graphing. In order to write an equation for a parabola, you need to know 3 things instead of 4. You need to know the orientation, so you know if it's horizontal or if it's vertical. That's important, because that determines which variable's in the front and which one's squared, right? And then you need to know what P is. So let me remind you what P is in case it comes up not in these questions, but a different question. P is, by definition, the definition is the distance from the vertex to the focus. Vertex to the focus is P. So if it told you that in a question, you would already have what P is. Okay? So you need the orientation, you know P, you also need to know the vertex, which is HK. If you have those 3 things, you can write an equation. So the first one says the vertex is at the origin, so that means HK 0, 0. And the focus is at 0, -4. That tells us actually 2 things. Yes, but I want to be careful how you got it. First of all, we need to know if it's vertical or horizontal. Remember, the focus has to be like inside the parabola, right? So if I graph this 0, 0, and then 0, -4, then it would open downwards, right? And it's vertical, right? Because the focus has to be inside the parabola. So this is vertical. Now, if you go back to your like notes from like the first day with all of like the little expressions of how to find the focus and the vertex and all the jazz. For the focus, it says that you should have H for vertical, H, comma, K plus P for the focus. That's what you should have, right? Well, we know K is 0. So 0 plus P has to be -4. So what's P? -4. So a lot of the questions on your homework are going to be similar in that they'll say, the directrix is this. And you go back and you look at the little expression and you figure out, okay, well, if I know K already, then K plus this. You try to figure out P that way, okay? Now, once you have those 3 things, the vertex, P, and then horizontal and vertical, you can go back and write the equation, all right? So we're going to go back. We have x minus, this is vertical, x comes first. So x minus 0 squared equals 4 times P. Well, we know P is -4. And then y minus 0. Simplify that really quickly. What's x minus 0? So x squared. What's 4 times -4? -16. So I'll write that as -16. And then y. Does that make sense? That's the equation. Everyone go with that one. Can I erase everything? That's the equation. All right, on the second one. The parabola passes through the point at 2, -1, has its vertex at -7, 5, and opens to the right. And when it opens to the right, does that mean it's horizontal or vertical? Horizontal. Okay, we know it's horizontal. We know the vertex. I need to know P. Now, it says the parabola passes through the point at 2, -1. That is not the focus. That is a point on the parabola. Now, if you think about your equation, especially one for horizontal, since that's what we're using, the equation says y minus k squared equals 4p times x minus h, right? That's what it says. Well, I have h and k, and I have this other point. This other point can be an x and a y. If I fill in x, I only have one variable left, which is p. And I can do some algebra. I can solve for p. And then I can write the equation. Okay? So, y in this case is -1. Minus k is 5. And then x is 2. Minus h, which is -7, so plus 7. So -1 minus 5 is -6. And -6 squared is 36. We're solving for p. Then, I don't have to do that. 2 plus 7 is 9, right? Then I have 4p times 9. So 4 times 9 is 36. So 36p. So p equals 1. So now I have to go back and actually write the equation. And when you write the equation, you want to have a y and an x in your equation. You have to have an input and output. But now I have p, and I know the orientation, and I have the vertex, so I can write the equation like we did in the first one. So we're just going to go back through, and we're going to fill it in, but this time leave out the y and the x. So I'm going to have, or like the numbers for y and x. So I'm going to have y minus 5 squared equals 4 times 1 is 4 times x plus 7. That's your equation. That's it. That's all you gotta do. That's standard form of a parabola. Okay, so questions on the second one? I'm not going to do the third one, but I do want to make a comment, so listen very carefully. On the third one, it says the parabola passes through the point 5, 2, has a vertical axis, which means that is vertical, and has a minimum at 4, -3. What is the minimum also known as from Algebra 2? The vertex. So if it says it has a minimum or a maximum, then you know that's the vertex, right? It can only have a minimum or a maximum if it's vertical. It can't have a minimum or a maximum if it's horizontal, because then it wouldn't be the bottommost point or the topmost point. So now you can do learning target 13 homework.